Hello, you spiritual beings having a physical experience. How's the physical experience going? Today I'm talking about 2025 and all of the things I've heard about that year. It's going to be fun. I'll tell you all about it on the other side. So we've talked before about lots of the astrologers talking about the same things for 2025. I listened to this incredible sort of hour and a half from Robert the astrologer here in Spain, and he was talking about 2025, the 4 quarters and how it's going to affect every star sign. It was really fascinating. But in general, what he was saying was that the first part of 2025, especially February time, January, February, going to be tough. And it's going to run tough up until about June, July. And then after that, that's when the alignments really gets kicked off. And then it's going to be beautiful. And it's going to be beautiful for the next 6 to 7 years. Right? Just wonderful. There's nothing in next year, you were saying, that could suggest anything like we lived in 2020. There's no alignments like that. Everything's beautiful. Once we get through the first half of a bumpy ride. And what he said was that, because he was being asked, will everybody unify next year? Will we all get together? Because the movement that we've got of awakened people is very fractured. It's very bits and pieces. And he said, no, that's not what next year is about. It's not the unifying of all of the awakened people. Damn. However, it is an important year in the Great Awakening, and it's going to bring about a lot of change. So I asked the emissaries about these up and coming energies and what they thought. And what they said is that, yes, it's not about unifying, but they said what's going to happen is these people, them, us, the people who've awakened, even though they won't unify, they said there will be unity in the way that they act. So what they said is that in 2025, what we're going to see is what they call mass non-compliance. So people will be autonomous and they'll be doing their own thing, but they will be not complying like we've done for so long. What's going to happen with that is that even though everyone's sort of individually saying, no, well, I'm not going to do it, a big swathe of the population is just going to start saying no. Not everybody, as the emissaries rightly brought to my attention, not everybody, but enough people that it's going to make a big shift, a big change. And what they said is that also, as this is happening, the influence of the baddies is reducing. And so what's going to happen, because mankind, the power we have is with that. Is with the where we spend our money, where we give our money, where we give our time, and where we give our attention. And so we're going to stop giving money where we don't want to give money. We're going to stop giving our attention where we don't want to give our attention. And so what's going to happen is that the business people, they're not stupid. They're going to see the trends and they're going to adapt to the trends to say, I see it already. Where do I see it? On the media, on the alternative media. Like suddenly, GB News is more sort of wild in what they're saying and conspiracy theories and everything. They were never like that. They pretended to be, but they weren't. But now it's like, jump on the train or you're going to miss the train. Because everybody else, all of these super alternatives are starting to do it. And so what's going to happen is that, companies like YouTube that have been banning, by the way, I've just had another video from like 4 years ago removed by a bot for medical misinformation. Can you believe it? So those kind of companies are going to see that they're going to start losing revenue. And so what they will do, because people won't be interested in what they're offering, and so what they'll do is they'll start to change. And I think that's going to happen throughout food companies and medicine and all of that. Or, medicine, doctors know now they're getting a good sign that people are fed up with them, fed up with this old paradigm. And so the doctors we had during the pandemic, we had a beautiful doctor who had to move country twice. And she was like anti-establishment, anti-pharma. And she was doing her thing. She was still a doctor and she was still prescribing when she needed to prescribe, but she was also offering lots of other alternatives. That's what's going to happen going forward. So it's like business people will be thinking, either I do this now, or I'm going to be left behind, or I'm going to be left with no business at all. And so that's what I think next year is going to be about. It's going to be about people saying, no, I'm not going to spend my money there anymore. We've already seen it with the Arla thing, the Bovea or whatever it's called. People react now, and people are very united because of the internet. So people's reaction is massive compared to what it used to be, where you would just have a few people and a few people with placards. Now we don't spend our money there anymore. So it's going to be fascinating, I think, what's going to come next year. I say this every year. Next year is going to be fascinating. And it is. I mean, this year's been incredible. This has been an awesome year. A year of starting to see vindication for what we've been saying for a long time. A year of truths coming out. It's been great. But the sense that I get is that it's going to get better. And it's going to get better. Not for everybody. It's going to get worse for some people. Lots of people who don't want to wake up. They don't want to have to face all of this. We're seasoned. We're like a leaf of tobacco that's been rolled on the thigh of an Asian woman. Or another analogy that might come to mind for you. We are seasoned. And so when we see it, it's like, well, we've seen that before. But for lots of people, this is the first time. And it's shocking for them. So that's why I think the front end of the year is going to be difficult. It's going to be very shocking for very many people. But it's got to happen. So welcome it and, batten down the hatches a bit. Keep your own counsel and watch whilst it unfolds like that tobacco leaf. I love you all and I'll speak to you all later. Bye-bye.